All right, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the final day of matches here for week number 9, and we're going to start off with a pretty casual one here. CLG versus Rush. CLG, of course.
It's a casual little pro league match we got here for you.
Yeah, just nice, relaxing match, you know. 10 players jumping in. Rush, unfortunately, not doing so hot, really just trying to avoid relegation. CLG is still fighting for playoffs, though, so these ones are somewhat important for them to try and close out so that they can try to chase a top 6 position, which you said they're unfortunately probably not going to end up getting this season, right?
No, I have to take a look at their standings, but I just think, I mean, we have to look at their standings and then also remember that there's 26 matches. 26, correct. Correct? Yes.
Yeah, corrected that from yesterday now. But yeah, I mean, overall, they're sitting basically like battling between themselves, LG, Misfits, and then you get it towards like Team Liquid and stuff like that. Other teams are going to end up competing against for a spot probably. And Renegades as well. It's basically, the big question is going to be if they end up in the top 6 or not.
You know, Renegades normally, in my opinion, would probably make top 6 under normal circumstances. But obviously, if you're them, you're probably not taking it quite as seriously.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, there's
quite frankly,
there's still like prize money to play for, which bumps up significantly when you get up to like the top 6 or so. So they can still play for that, and I'm pretty sure they'll get all of that, even though they're going to be declining the invite itself. But yeah, I mean, so they still have that to play for. I'm pretty sure they're still going to be playing it to the most of their efforts. As we take a look at like the CLG roster overall, based on how you've seen him evolve throughout the last 2 seasons or so now, where would you actually rate Kusta in terms of an overall opera in North America?
Lou, you always want to talk about Kusta. He is
this one came from production, actually. This was their question.
Well, production loves Kusta as well, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, so let's think. Comparable. Let me give you an op comparison. Let's see. Kusta is probably. I have to think who he's on par with. Definitely better than like Silent, who's going to be opping. I don't know. I think he's probably like top 4, top 5. Top 4? Definitely.
Okay. Well, there we go. Into the pistol round we do begin, and it's a little bit split up actually across the map here. Rush tried to get aggressive out Ivy. As you can see, didn't really pay out too much for them, and now CLG moves into inner. They don't really have a lot of defenses set up. Already losing Blade closer into the site, and Toy trying to fall back towards CT. He loses his own head. Another player has been dinked down to now 10 HP. That's going to be Ruru. The only trade so far they've gotten was against Cutler, and now onto Kusta. Silent picks that kill up, but 3v2, the CTs, well, we actually have Akit sneaking up quite far, but he'll be denied by Ethan, and now that leaves just Silent alive. He's got a kid, he's got armor, even as a smoke right now, but it is looking like he'll decide to go for this one anyway instead of saving up for the next 4 spy. Problem is, he's getting flanked out the second he tries to deploy the smoke. They've spotted him, they know where he's playing from, and FNS is going to be able to shut down the round.
I would say he's probably on the level of like a Yell.
A Yell?
Yeah.
Okay. But you wouldn't put him over any of like the other the big operas in North America right now. So.
He's on like Yell, Shazam level, I would say.
Okay.
I still think like Henny, obviously Fallen, Skadoodle, Stewie when he ops. I'd put JDM above him.
All right. Going into the second round now, it's actually going to be pretty lightly bought in by Rush as they're saving up here. Just a couple of upgraded pistols, and well, I think 1 smoke is bought into it, but FNS, well, he doesn't really feel like waiting, so him and Ricky just going to roll right into the site. Already 4 kills for them. This is going to be a pretty quick round, and of course a quick start on the 2-0 for CLG.
Shots by FNS.
Yeah, nice. Clean for him. Blade tries to hold into the corner, picking up hopefully a close headshot, but it's not meant to happen this time. Ricky claims himself a 2nd kill in the round, and CLG push through once more.
Yeah, so not too much of an investment coming out from Rush, though. Opting to save a bit. So they'll have like a really good, 4th round gun run. But CLG with the 3 umps, they have full utility and everything. Looks like they're going to go quick outside with all 5 players, just molly everything they can, and run out. And unfortunately for Rush, the stack comes to enter, so it's going to be a free plant. It should be a relatively clean, easy round for CLG.
Yeah, the others from Rush are going to try to move up and maybe try to swarm a few players that would be holding too close to this old bomb tunnel, or over by Z, as you can see over there, but they're being found out on pretty much all of these avenues. Kusta even spotting a player up on boost, so not going to be able to get away with much, just hunting down those last few stragglers before we see the 3rd round go up on the board. And Rush, of course, try to claim at least 1 or 2 trades overall here, which they do. Pick up 1 here at the hands of Ruru, and Silent manages to get pretty far into the site, just can't hit the headshot when the time is needed.
Yeah, so we'll see how many umps they keep. I don't think umps are as good on train, just because there's so many long-range battles. It's a lot of the time you can't like just mouse one and like go left to right also. I don't think umps are as effective on this map as they are on like Overpass or Cache or other maps. I mean, it's still super effective. But yes, they did leave the bomb in spawn. FNS going to go get it. Op onto Kusta. Gets a pick right away.
Immediately taking down Silent, so already looking at 1-for-1 on that duel. We assume Silent had an op, which, judging from the fact that Blade seems to have picked one up there, I would definitely say so. Kusta, however, will just stick inside of T-Con for now, and not picking up the bomb early on doesn't seem to have affected them really at all, as they were probably setting up for a default anyway. As we can see, it's going to end up with a 3-2 push, focusing on Ivy primarily, and having the two others deployed into T-Con here. Still only a now two-man setup outside either, although they have moved a third in towards Ticket Booth by Z, so they're going to be holding a position right outside there. And Kusta finds the backside of another player. That's Toy going to be legged because of that, down to 15 HP now. Blade, Ruru, and Akis still remain at full health, but now they're going to begin to be challenged. Blade holds strong, however, for his first pickup. He'll be able to take down Ricky with Cutler, trading out onto one more here. Now Ruru moves in for revenge, as does Blade, as he continues to pick these guys off. Ruru with one pickup, unfortunately running out of ammo here, so he's going to be traded out by FNS, and at the end of the day, it's now left to Blade in the 1v2. Already with 2 kills, he'd have to go for a 4K to make it happen, and he legs out Kusta. Unfortunately, missing that kill may cost him deeply, but he tries to go for the wall. Again, it looks like it hit, but apparently not the case here. Walks right past FNS, but he didn't even realize it, so now Blade goes hunting, tries to figure out just where FNS had gone, but it's FNS that finds Blade first and closes out the round in the favor of CLG.
Yeah, nice play by FNS. And unlike we have Chick-fil-A today, and there's a lot of happy faces over there because of that. But Rush probably not too happy about how that round played out. FNS just crawling underneath.
Crawling underneath is a play.
I've never seen this group of people so happy.
Everybody is just standing around in a circle by the catering table.
They're actually praying to it.
Patiently waiting for the food to be delivered and then to finish setting it up. Well, Rush going on to a full save here now. And Ricky sitting back and waiting again, hoping he can hit himself a nice first shot, similarly to how Kusta connected early on back in the last round, but still nice, slow, and restrained overall from the CLG players. You can see this double stack back in the corner, and no, the volley spreads!
No.
Oh, Ruru sacrifices Akis to stay alive by jumping on top of his body. It works to a certain degree, but Akis is still going to find himself dead. So, easy 5v4 advantage again to CLG.
Too many teams, Blue.
So yeah, now time getting a little bit lower. CLG is going to have to start to move in to take control, and actually Ricky finds himself in a bit of an awkward spot, letting Silent get that close. Now he's backing up to give himself a little bit more room to prep for the shot, although Silent doesn't seem too keen on really chasing that advantage through T-Con and following up on his opponent there. Now you got Ethan probably just going to end up grouping up by Inner and making the move, although Rush gets the read on this one, so they're actually rotating into it appropriately now, and pretty early on too. Before they even get their first couple players down ramp, there's 2+ in the site. Fortunately, still working with these pistols, so it's going to be really tough to get anything done, and at the end of the day, it's still overall execution from CLG.
That's going into the 6th round. I mean, CLG has a ton of money. If you're Rush right now, you got to win probably 3 gun rounds in a row in order to break them. So
that was such an unlucky spread.
Yeah, it was.
That thing didn't look like it was going to even get close to them at first. So into the next gun round here for Rush, as they still spread out pretty evenly here, although they're keeping a bit of a heavier presence this time towards A. No 2 stacks into B. They just keep a guy over here by Z, but Kusta just goes for the shot, hits it.
He's just made it 4v5 right off the bat.
This time he will be dinked down pretty low as a result of it, but still great reactions from him to find Akis through the smoke after he goes in and actually fires off first on Kusta. The response is swift, knocks out Akis, and again, as you mentioned, the 5v4 right at the start off of the hands of Kusta's op.
Yeah, it's tough for CLG to do anything too quick in rounds. Like, they could look for picks and opportunistic picks, but the fact that they have 2 ops going on for the T side right now kind of slows them down a lot.
Still, though, it seems to be working for them so far.
No, it does. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a play style that you kind of have to adapt to when you have those double ops. And it is 4v5, and they really don't have much utility, right? Just 6 flashbangs and a Molotov.
Toy's going to hold himself close up over here towards Z and pushes in. Unfortunately, Cutler's not watching out to that far side, so he is going to have to lose Ricky in the process. The bomb goes down too, but Cutler already striking back.
Nice shot.
Instantly hits the headshot into the corner against Ruru. Now Blade trying to hold on the bomb site, but his aim gets messed up and dropping off the train. So Ethan responds to it. Silent trying to see if there's anyone else still in the open, but not the case. Well hidden behind that smoke, so he's not going to be able to connect on that one or even find his opponent there. And now it's really full control for CLG. As Silent, well, he will have free reign to work himself up this tunnel to the bomb train. Actually getting anything done is going to be incredibly tough, as they're set up in some nice post plants. Apparently some team damage getting done there too, which would have primed Silent for a kill, but not going to work out, as Cutler does indeed hit that last shot as well, getting him a nice 3K for the round.
Yeah, again, CLG just running through Rush at this point. Kusta making a 4v5, both gun rounds in a row. Easy trade kill for Cutler there. And that spot by Ruru is a spot that's really heavily pre-fired. It's kind of tough to hold that angle.
So now we are going to see CLG just going for a much faster play this time, since Rush is back down under the eco. They've already proven they can handle that. And for the most part, that Rush isn't really going to try anything aggressive based on the 3 or 4 rounds that they've already been in the similar buy. So Silent responding to one, and even sneaks in a second one there too. So some good headshots, but overall not a whole lot being done to stop CLG from actually winning out the round.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even opt to really buy anything, right? They just full eco, even on a round like that where they have so much money bonus. So questionable decision. But COG, they just kind of go out mid, run to the right, which is tough to stop if you're not ready for it, especially when you're running through the back lanes like Toy is, and they just appear at the right side of Red Train, just immediately start shooting at you. You're really not ready for something like that.
Yeah, so we have CLG again just posturing up. Heavy presence, of course, by the ladder room, and a few more just kind of hanging around in between Ivy and the T connector on outside here. So going to be watching out to see if Rush try to push out first, and then after that we'll move in, more than likely to try and pinch on this a bit more. Still a lot of potential for this to actually swing itself inside as well, since they don't have any T-Con presence still. In theory, we could send the guys in Ivy first and then have the others try to go down ramp after they've already started to swing through these halls, but we'll see in a moment what exactly CLG will lead this into, as Rush are still having a heavy focus on outside, and with that heavy focus, they were able to push up aggressively towards T-Con and spot that this is indeed open. So, still no move being made just yet by CLG, as they're going to start to toss a few nades out into the open here. But Rush, in response to spotting things being empty towards T-Con, are going to begin to shift their own players around a little bit here. The full 2-man commitment going inside of B, although still quite a few holding heavily by the trains out on A's. This is going to be a bit of more of a lengthy rotate. Panicking now, though, as we do see the smoke starting to come out in a much larger force by the T's over here onto the B bomb site. So those rotates start to roll in. Good news for Toys that he counters out. They push back in from Ivy. Akis even spotting one through the smoke, and also Silent with the off. Good rotation speed over here has allowed for Rush to stop this for the most part, although Cutler's doing a good job of bringing it back. Just like that, we're in a 2v3. Missed shot from Kusta, but he reconnects just off the tip of the train to take down Ruru. So we're even again, but the CTs are sneaking up from the left side, and Toy getting aggressive here, but Kusta responds after he loses his teammate, and now down to the 1v1, but Blade still has the element of surprise to a certain degree. Kusta, the intuition from him, though, as he checks from his behind, but now he's also lost the bomb, and it's going to be a close-up battle. Thankfully on the peak, spots Blade while taking no damage, and now just waits for the opportunity, misses it. Blade will get the kill, but now does he have enough time to defuse the bomb, and thankfully with a kit, he should be able to do this, and finally put a round for Rush up on the board.
Yeah, Kusta had the right read when he started looking for Pop Dog, but just was too worried that Blade could be anywhere else, and kind of gets himself in a situation where he actually still, in my opinion, probably should have won that round.
Yeah.
Just kind of missed that no-scope. But at the end of the day, they lost the round in perfect fashion. It was a 2v4. Cutler gets 2 nice kills here. Kusta gets the next one. They get the bomb down for the money. They have a ton of money to work with. They're going to be able to buy another round after this easily. And Rush only won with 1 alive. So this could be a potential reset. And if they do get reset, this is going to be a 10+ half for CLG without a doubt.
CLG very, very quickly moving themselves into the boxels here. So fast, in fact, that I think Akis heard it on top of the ladder. Bouncing back down, still safe behind the spindles for right now, and swinging out in an attempt to get a second kill. He will be taken out, but look at this flank from Blade, already active. Smoke's in the way, though, but he just crossed it. He did spot his opponent. I'm not sure if Cutler saw him. So he's going to be watching his backside, but Blade is much more focused on the site right now, so they can get that control. Cutler just spotted his opponent, but now he snuck into the site. This is going to be such a split-up T site now as they try to hold on to control of this. Ricky goes in. The defuse is already down to 2. Now 1 second, and he'll be able to ninja
Cutler
it.
went to upper.
As we see Blade pulling it off, and Rush somehow sneaking in that second round after Cutler spotted him already.
Yeah, Cutler decides to go to upper, was worried that he heard him, and I think when that smoke plumed, he didn't realize it was a smoke for the bomb. So he goes to upper to just molly the bomb, instead of just walking down and shooting him in the back. Very, very strange round that we just witnessed.
Yeah, and that's certainly not going to be great for CLG. Thankfully, they still have like 2 players up and rolling at the end of that round. Both teams did. So they save a few guys and are able to obviously donate guns over for the others. I think they even still probably have money for one more full rebuy after this. If not, should still be good for a force-up, I would imagine. But nonetheless, Rush picking up a second. They get a chance to build on their own economy at least a little bit here. CLG could still very well just break it, though, after this. Put themselves back in control of the situation here for the first half. It'll be slow once more from CLG.
Yeah, so they're just in a 3-1-1. 3 Ivy. It's going to be a slower play because they're going to have to wait out these Ivy smokes. Rush has almost no utility. So they're going to have to win it via gun battles. Then you just have 1 team mid and 1 ladder. And the Ivy guys are going to go first. They're going to make contact. They're going to try to dictate the pace of this play. And then the team mid and the ladder guys really have to kind of play off of them and strike at the right time.
So at the moment, timer just being run down as the smokes do start to move in to start this push towards Ivy. They're sitting in the cubby over here at the edge of it.
Silent.
The Ivy CT player, though, could do a lot of damage. The smoke is not covering his position at all right now. He's got full vision, but this also serves a purpose for CLG.
See, the problem with playing there when they throw that smoke is sometimes you think it's a good idea, but that's the spot they check. You don't have to check anything else, so it's actually a terrible spot under those circumstances.
After everything is said and done, the entire A site is cleared out with only 1 trade going against Kusta. So now it is just going to be Akis left alive, who was the B player, and in a moment he's going to find himself in combat versus FNS, who will have the pure angle advantage. He's even going to go for the knife as well, and he gets it. Team Ace, including the knife from CLG that time around, as they take back control very quickly, and indeed Rush will have nowhere near enough cash to be able to justify going for a full buy here.
Pretty, nobody's lagging behind on the squad. 4, 4, 4, 4, and 3 kills. So, no, but I mean, they got reset, so this is like pretty disastrous for Rush. I mean, this is going to be a 10+ half for CLG, almost certainly, as long as they don't get ecoed here.
Yeah, and CLG, knowing that they will be on a sort of force buy, do decide to go aggressively into it. Problem is, Silent was ready for this one. Not only does he get that first kill, but then does great damage to another, which Ruru is going to be able to punish. Ruru also taking some heat, however, but Toy, nice eagle shot. It's short-lived, though, as now FNS gets himself into the fight. Just outside of Sandwich here, tries to swing back around, but actually Akis steals the kill from FNS, and as well, Blade just rolls out from the Ivy tunnel, finds Akusa looking in the complete opposite direction, and Rush somehow hold off there against that rush from CLG.
Yeah, they win the round, they get the AWP, the AK, and they're going to have a pretty decent buy here. And CLG, similar to what Misfits did last night versus Renegades, just kind of playing like they already won, to be honest. I mean, if this was like a match on LAN for, that they were playing against like a team that could really threaten them to beat them, like they probably don't do that same thing. But it doesn't annoy me nearly as much in this situation because they're on the T side. They're probably going to win this game. Let's be real. They're a much better team than Rush is. So it's like, you've proven that you're a much better team than them. It's kind of okay if you play like that a little bit. You kind of expect them to play looser under these circumstances. I just don't like it when the team that you're playing against is either equivalent or even better than you.
Well, now Cutler moving in to try and help clean up shop a little bit quicker against Rush this time. As it's down to both Silent and Blade. Blade of which knocked out in his attempt to sneak from the ladder room, and just Silent left up and running now. But unfortunately, he's found out pretty early. FNS tries to test him a little bit there, but Silent passes the test, knocks out FNS, and now puts himself into the 1v3 scenario. Have to ace this to clutch it. They already know where he's at, though. And Kusta, being able to line up a position, will punish Silent on his next peek towards the Ivy tunnel and re-solidify the advantage for CLG.
Yeah, and CLG going to be on another eco or force buy. I mean, they force bought the round before when they're in the same situation. Was lucky enough to win the round, but it does look like they're just going to full save here. Nope. Well, maybe. Very delayed purchase.
Yeah, they do just go into it, though. Akis is able to get himself full rifle, but everybody else just upgraded pistols. And again, splitting up here, but CLG has shown a pattern of much increased aggression this time. Probably going to have to hold it back now, though, because, well, it looked like Blade was going to push, but then he got hit by the flashbang, so changes his mind and just deploys the smoke. And now we do indeed end up in the more slow pattern from CLG due to that. So they'll be splitting their players up all across the map here. 2 in T-Con, Ethan watching from up on top in the White Halls, and 2 more here towards Ivy. As Rush do try for a much more aggressive setup over towards A, but in doing this, they are going to partially ignore Ivy, which in theory, if they go in first, could make this control a lot easier for CLG to maintain. And again, you've got Kusta striking first here, knocking out Blade. That's got to be the 4th or 5th time in this half alone that he's been able to find the opening kill with that op. And he continues to dominate in that fashion. And another forced up eco round from Rush. Now just swinging in. Actually, this is his opportunity to kill Toy. Thankfully, it's a quick correction for Cutler as he moves back in. Now, indeed, the clean sweep is coming through for CLG as it is left down to just Silent, holding up on top of the ladder room itself with not a whole lot that he can do. And CLG definitely picking up their 10th round here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm wondering where Blade was when Kusta got that entry, because there was a smoke down at T mid, and Blade's the Ivy player. So he might have just shot him through the smoke or something like that. In order to make it 4v5. But yeah, Kusta showing up. He's being very, very aggressive. It's working out for him every single time, every single round. He's won the op duels versus Silent. He's made it 4v5 countless times. Well, not countless, because I mean, let's be real, it's like 5 times. But still, I mean, he's having a huge impact. Yeah,
it was. We did actually get it confirmed that it was his 4th entry so far with the up so far. This happened. I think like 3 out of 4 of them, or at least 2 of them, have been over there from T-Con. He hit another one in one of the gun runs in the past, back over the top of ramp through the smoke. But I think it was Akis that tried to kill him, and he like snapped onto it at the last second. But there we go. It was an attempt to.
Yeah, to go back to that Ivy play, as we're in an eco when we saw that he was inside that Ivy cubby. Like I was saying though, when you smoke the end of Ivy, you don't have to look to the left or the right. So that's actually why it's like a bad play, because that's the only spot that T's have to check. Now it could be decent when you have like a Mag 7 or a CZ, and a decent play to do, even under those same circumstances. But especially when you have an M4, it's just the peeker's advantage is too strong, and you're just very, very disadvantaged. If somebody checks that spot on you, you're gonna die like 8 out of 10 times when you have an M4. You really are.
Full eco this time from Rush, and immediately we see the first kill rolling out for the guys on CLG. Fast response from Toy just on the outside of Ivy, but it means very little in the grand scheme of things. The 2 of the remaining 3 look like they are going to try to pinch on Cutler, but he's read into this really well, actually. And while he does fail on the 3rd and final kill, reinforcements are just a few steps away, where FNS repunishes that, takes down Ruru, and leaves it down to just Akis, who, okay, well, he did have the AK, unfortunately, didn't have the money to buy up any armor behind it, so we'll have to attempt this 1v3 glass cannon AK buy with no additional utility. In a moment, he's already going to be found out by Kusta, who wastes no time sinking the final shot on the round.
Yeah, I mean, Kusta's just running him over, and in every situation that you think he's not going to get the kill to, he always manages to, just like running off somebody. And Cutler as well, just doing work. 18 and 5 for him, 17 and 6 for Kusta. And this has been a pretty quick game so far, just an absolute stomp.
Yeah, and it looks like it may continue here. We'll have to see how Rush can fare on the last round of the half. But Rush are going to be working with a pretty basic utility set at this time. Just a few smokes and flashbangs, no mollies, no HE grenades to really play with here. Toy already taking himself an early battle, but the Molotov is going to send him right back outside. And the follow-up smoke as well to allow Ricky in. I don't think it's perfect, though. Yeah, there's definitely an opening on the left side. Good news is he moves so quickly that no one from Rush was even able to. I don't even think they noticed that this happened. FNS, though, he's going to get killed first off when he moves back in. But Ricky trying to take control of the bomb turret. He's going to be able to swing back out, trying to punish Toy. The flashbang time was actually really good. And now, you know, after he gets in there, finds that kill, but all of his teammates failed after that. So at the very least, Rush will be able to pick up 1 more and make it 4-11 on the half. Still a lot of work to do to fully recover on their second side here in a moment, folks. So we'll see if they can do it on the T side in just a few minutes right here at the ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
And we're back once again. Ladies and gentlemen, more action here from the ESL Pro League. Rush is taking on CLG currently here on Train, and it was a dominating first half for CLG, 11-4, and Rush really only able to scrape off a few rounds off of it. Seems like kind of overconfidence and over-aggression from CLG there as they were throwing themselves into the fight maybe a little bit too often, ended up dropping a few rounds. Still overall, though, dominating in pretty much all of the gun rounds, and now they have a huge lead going into the second half.
Yeah, Cutler with 118 DAR right now. Just doing work, and yeah, you're absolutely right. COG started playing really, really loose. They got punished for it a couple rounds, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is a match that COG's they're going to win very, really easily. It's on the T side. They started rushing teams and things like that, and they're already with like a gigantic lead, and they know they could buy the rounds afterwards, even if they do manage to lose it.
It's like a few small slip-ups, but it seemed like on most of the rounds that they needed to win, they had the focus there and were able to very cleanly take control of it. But we are into the pistol round, and Rush is wasting no time rushing their way into inner as they do push for it. First kill's theirs, and they push the second CT out. Smokes and Z. Ruro's going to find himself overwhelmed in a moment here, though, so he's got to be careful, but Akis trying to keep things alive. Unfortunately, he gets himself too far into the fight, too. Now we'll be down to a 3v3. Silent trying to hold in the open and just firing off with the Glock right now. 2 shots left, but he'll be flanked out by Kusta before he can fire either one of them. Brings us down into another even fight, but the 2 remaining CLG players heavily lit as they push together up to that bomb train, and I believe put a smoke over it, too. Blade tries to sneak in, but found out by Kusta. The molly will go up, but like I said, I think there's a smoke over top of it right now, so it's going to do nothing, but they still killed the diffuser, and now Kusta's been blocked off himself. Toy even knows where he's diffusing from, so he will be able to close out and gives Rush their chance to get back into the match.
Yeah, I think the molly might have hit him, actually.
Did it?
I mean, he was going down so quick,
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine that was a Glock.
I think it was.
Shooting him in the body or something like that, because he had armor. So I think the molly was just at a weird spot where like it landed on top of the train or something and like spread underneath it or something. Because he went down quick. And it looked like he wasn't even peeking with the Glock while he was getting hit, you know? So that was odd.
Interesting. Well, regardless, it gives Rush the advantage here now, and for CLG, they will, in response to that, go for the usual force-up here. Deagle going on to Ethan, along with a P250 and CZ Bibes, and 2 scouts now coming in, 1 with and 1 without armor, as you look at Kusta and Cutler, respectively. Rush, though, are playing the more patient game and just holding back in both Whitehalls and T-Con, along with the outside area, right outside of T-Spawn. Just waiting this one out to make sure CLG don't try to do anything aggressive at the start of the round. Afterwards, we'll see them execute. Don't know which site just yet, but looking like they'll play this one together, more than likely, or line up into some sort of default.
Yeah, I love the double scout buy on this map. You could look into team mid. You could usually tag a couple people before your your pistolers even have to fight anybody, and it could sometimes just work out really well for you. Also give you a lot of vision in order for over rotates and whatnot.
Yeah, and Kusta's spotting the first player moving back in, so alerting Ricky to his presence, but does bait him into the open and right into the scout as well. Kusta going to be able to connect on that shot, and he certainly knows it, so Ricky moves forward to get the final bullets in. Now, though, the actual take is coming back into the site. While Cutler hits a shot, he's left in the open. Ethan, though, it's a nice shot, and FNS connects onto his second 2. He'll be able to take down Akis. All of a sudden, it's just 2 alive, and they're very quickly being surrounded. FNS, with a new armament to work with, will move forward to pick up an additional kill on the up, but Blade fast to trade that one out. Now he's alone, though, and has to react quick, but apparently not quick enough as Ricky slides down the ramp and secures the trade for CLG.
Yeah, and those scouts just make it so easily on the pistolers when they hit that shot. It's just 30 HP, very easy kills. Really nice 1 dig from upper. That wasn't on a scouted player at all. Blade, 30 HP at the end there. So nice round by COG.
Yeah, and this is going to send Rush into their own sort of force here now as they just go for Tech 9s. Similar investment with all armor. A little bit of utility, but it is looking like they're going to try to line up the take a lot faster. And this could be great for Cutler's nade if it goes in. 3 players taking 20+ damage across them each. Silent, though, will get the first kill, but then that's traded out by 3 fast responses from Ethan and Ricky combined. They'll still get onto the site, but they can't peek out to the right. They're stuck into this very small space, which Ricky is now going to be able to move in and find the last 2 kills. Excuse me, Kusta does end up stealing that last one there against Ruru, but overall, still CLG dominant, and now they take control again at the beginning of the half.
Yeah, 4-spot round from Rush. Now, looks like they're going to opt to save, but, I mean, I think this game is just all but over, Blue. Just a matter of time.
Yeah, essentially Rush more than likely will end up forcing in the next round, and even there, they're not going to have the greatest buy. Probably going to have to sacrifice either downgrades to an UMP or a Tech 9 with a little bit of utility. We'll see from there, essentially, how much they're actually able to work towards, but even then, it's going to be a reduced buy, and we've already seen the track record from their CT side, how well that actually went against CLG, and, well, it's showing once more as Cutler just swings in here on the full eco, already taking down 2 players, spotting a few more, and maybe able to punish them as well as he continues to challenge it, and Ricky even swinging in from the other side to pick up Toy. It is just left down to Blade and Ruru, essentially trying to hold for their own lives and to pick up as many kills as possible, but there's not a whole lot that they can do. And indeed, Cutler on the jumping shot closes out the round and ends up with a nice 4K to push CLG up to 14.
It's a stat pad match. Everyone's positive. Everyone's getting good DAR. It's just a stat pad match, man.
Yeah. Well, this will be the last real big buy from Rush. And thankfully, the money's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. They actually all look like they got AKs. It is the utility portion of this one that is going to hurt, though, as they don't have mollies to get players into positions. They're not going to have a whole lot of HE grenades to try and punish that either. So it's quick setups, but they all quick pickups, I should say, as well for the members on Rush. As FNS and Cutler try to get aggressive. They try to push early on inside of ladder room, and they're punished very early on. Some damage is traded out, but nothing significant. And all of a sudden, this is left to a 5v3 in the favor of Rush.
Yeah, actually, I think those should have been kills. For FNS and Cutler.
Not finding their marks, so...
Especially on the second guy that ran through. I think he should have at least got one, without a doubt.
Well, CLG is still going to get a chance to defend themselves here on the site as Ricky indeed lines up in a great position to counter out this later T-con pressure that we do start to see move in from Rush. They'll probably start to smoke that back out. But they catch Ricky in the open. Kusta trading out for one more, bringing this to a 2v3. Still certainly a recoverable situation, especially with this angle that Ethan gets against Blade. That's an easy kill for him. And now Silent wrapping back around. He will be able to line up for Kusta. So this falls to Ethan to clutch 1v2. Found Silent jumping behind the yellow or the gray tree in there. So we'll be able to try and hunt him down, but he's also got to be careful of Sandwich. I think he just spotted Toy, though, so he's going to move in. Spots Toy, he's going to hunt down his opponent first, though, but he peeked just a little bit too far in, and Toy was able to spin around and respond to that quickly as he takes down Ethan, and will indeed secure the round for Rush.
Yeah, they live with 2 alive off that 4-spot round. They didn't have many nades or anything like that, but the double drop down ladder, making it 3v5, was too much for CLG to overcome, although they did play the 3v5 pretty well.
CLG is still going to buy into this next round, of course, with their money. Includes double op setup, too, as, you know, one of them was still working with a scout from their last anti-eco round, so they're still looking good on money, at least for this round, of course, as they're fully stacked up and Rush get themselves up to a good buy this time in terms of their utility, too, so they don't have to force the issue as much as they did in the last round anymore. Can see, though, again, very similar lineup of players early on, sending 2 down into the ladder room at the bottom of it, with 1 securing the white halls up on top, another one in T-Con, and their 5th and final player waiting outside of Ivy for them to set up for another A default. And Kusta, much as he was the entry player back inside of T-Con last time, is going to be sort of the guardian of it as well on this half, as he does just sit back watching Ivy along with this T-Con area, being able to support FNS in the event. We do see Ivy pressure, which is now going to be tossed out by the Rush guys. Just one of them in this area of the map, and no smoke covering it either, so if they want to try to peek into Blade, they could very well attempt that. But the others, yet to see really anything from them. Rush have not tried to push into this, still 50 seconds left on the clock. So there's going to be plenty of time for that, but also a lot of CLG's utility is now completely gone. In fact, the player that hasn't used any of it is, I believe, the one that's sitting way over in B, and that's going to be Ricky. Kusta, though, hits the first shot. Trades continue to move in evenly, but Toy, surprised, but still able to react in time to find Cutler. And now the last 2 being restricted out of sight. Ricky is going to start to move in on the flank, but he's covered off by a lot currently over here inside of the ladder room. So it's going to be a while before he can have any impact. here. And unfortunately, that will probably come after Rush have already secured themselves the site and some pretty decent post-plant positions too. More of the T's trying to move in against Ethan, but a little bit too slowly, so Ethan is going to be able to transition into the hallway here, and now move in to hunt down Akis, gets the free kill. He's got to watch his flank, though, along with his heaven position, as that's where the last two are holding out. Ricky bails out his teammate, but then loses him just seconds later, and now it's on Toy to battle up against Ricky, who still sits way in the back, but now he's going to take the high ground approach to this one. Toy has a lot of cover to work with, and as he sneaks out, spots his opponent before Ricky even has a close idea about where he's playing from, and shuts down another round for Rush.
Yeah, that was well played by Toy to reposition after he was spotted in CT Heaven. And Rush off that, you know, kind of like a default slow outside take, even though it goes down to 4v5, Blade dies at Ivy. The outer hit is, you know, they did a good job of getting those initial frags.
So CLG are going to end up on an eco overall here again. Just some upgraded CZs, or just some CZs for them, and one armor pickup from FNS. It's quick outside from Rush, wasting no time here, and wasting no time getting some kills either. But in a direct engagement, we're already going to see one trade moving out from Cutler. Seems to be the only one, at least until FNS gets himself a piece of the action. Being able to move in and find Toy. That seems to be the end of it, though. That's indeed a quick play. Will be a quick round overall from Rush as they secure their 8th.
Yeah, Kusta gets back on the op. 4-4s for everybody else. Decent utility, not the best, but enough for a good buy.
Rush being able to take that control. Big issue here, though, is still going to be money overall for this team. We have quite a few players that are going to find themselves essentially broken in the event that CLG still went out the next round to prevent any saves. So that is still a big issue here, in the fact that obviously CLG would need the second round after this one to close out on the map, and Rush want to try to have their best buy to stop that one if they're going to be working with forced in AKs and no utility or umps or something like that. It certainly isn't going to help their case. They're trying to stay alive and chase either a 16-14 or overtime. But again, same overall pacing from Rush, as they do for the most part, just once again line up into this default. An extra player going towards Ivy this time instead of sending such a heavy assault towards the ladder room. It's Silent choosing to play towards it, but he's only going to stick around temporarily, and moves back over here towards T-Con to regroup with the bomb. Which actually the bomb is heading upstairs too, so they do still have the 3 guys over here towards B. And the potential.
Ethan has a lot of information though. He's jiggle peeking, he still has his smoke, he still has his Molotov. So Inner's in a really good situation right now.
Yeah, he's got that under control. And it really hasn't been tested all that much overall by Rush, I would say, so far in this half. As they, for the most part, just been deploying towards A defaults every time. But now they're going to change it up. Ethan did see players shifting inside of the box halls in just a few moments ago, and now they're going to call for a second player in to help out with that. It's going to be Ricky, who also still has a Molotov to try and pop back out as well and prevent this, but he's in a bit of an awkward spot, so he can only volley upper currently unless he gets himself a good angle. Indeed, all the smokes move out from the T's, and they're good to execute here, but there's that molly on the ground. Another one can be tossed right back in here by Ricky. Flashbang was perfectly positioned too, so Cutler basically gets the first kill for free here. The rest are trying to move in and take control, but Ethan is in position to punish now, as he's able to catch Blade. Cutler's still on the backside. They do manage to find Ethan, but only 8 seconds remaining. Ruru continuing forward, but Cutler back into the match now as he's picking up more and more kills. I believe that is going to be his second on the round. Kusta with the up, drops the bomb. With the time expiring, only Silent is going to be left alive as CLG do finally claim their 15th round.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the player that had bomb knew it from Rush, because the bomb, I believe, landed, like the person who had the bomb was pushing up. So it was just an unretrievable place. Couldn't plant the bomb in time. And I mean, that inner take was done too late. It was done in about 30 seconds. Ethan throws a smoke, delays you even more. He throws a molly, delays you even more. Throws his flash, he gets a free kill off of it. I mean, Ethan played inner there like absolutely perfect.
Well, now we do have Kusta sitting back over behind Ivy again and wanting to try and hold off this defense to close out on the match. Does see the double push from Rush, so knows they have the players pushed into this portion of the map again, but also Rush moving a little bit more decisively towards the box hole this time. Still doesn't seem to have helped out with weighing the odds, though, as CLG seems stuck on the 2-player setup now, and even so have also picked up the first kill. He's continued to jump into that, but that was like 4 or 5 times in a row that he's jumped into that, so...
Just asking Kusta.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the end goal of that was, as it didn't even look like he was going to have a teammate peeking for him. Another nice shot from Kusta.
I don't think he's died to Silent yet.
So he'll be able to hit that one. Didn't even look like he was fully peeked against him, but apparently it works out for him. As once more, we're back down to another 5v3 in the favor of CLG, as they just need a few more kills to close out on this first map in a very fast fashion. As Kusta's even going to get more aggressive now, up on top. The train just outside of T-Con. He may very well be able to hit this kill. Akis is going to move it just below him, but you cannot stop Kusta. A second one just on this round alone. The Molly, a little bit faster there. Blaze can actually burn him back down to 8 HP now. And Toy finding Ricky. Timing of that one at least works out for one of the members of Rush here, but the problem is Blaze just going to walk right back into the op, and Kusta sinks the last 2 kills as well. Another 4K for him to close out the map, and it does indeed end 16-8 in the favor of CLG as they take it in dominating fashion here on Train.
Yeah, and I mean, it really wasn't even close. I think the score is even, I mean, 16-8 is a pretty dominant performance, right? You see that, you think, okay, that team killed them, especially starting T-side. And I think that the score isn't even as, you know, indicative of
for this.
How dominant CLG was. You know, I mean, it wasn't even close. Like, the two teams are just so far, you know, from each other, like talent-wise, teamwork-wise, and everything, especially on a map like Train.
All right, well, let's bring the analysts into the conversation now and get their thoughts and see if they have anything else to discuss here with this map. Pretty straight cut and pretty straightforward for CLG, as they do take pretty good control over Rush that time.
You know, I don't think Sam's wrong in saying that there's a huge gap in between these two teams. I mean, and it's glaringly obvious. You can't really harp on it too much because it's just something that exists. Yeah, no, it is what it is. And, you know, if you look at the standings going into it, there's a reason why CLG are sitting at 36 points and there's a reason why Rush is sitting at 9. And, you know, there you have that gap that he mentions. And I completely agree. It's, you know, 16-8 might sound like a respectable score in a sense, but it really wasn't. I feel a lot of these rounds that Rush picked up was off of the back of, you know, similar tendencies that we saw with Misfits yesterday, where they're playing like they've already won the game way before the second half has started, and, you know, they drop a couple of rounds because of that. Well, I mean, two things. At no point at any time during this match was Rush in control of the of the game. Oh yeah, no, never. And that scoreline says that to me. Now, on the other side of things, CLG coming in as that sort of bigger dog, definitely able to really play that no respect Counter-Strike. Yeah, that kind of gives them that advantage. They're the more skilled players. But they're also able to just freely roam around the map. Freedom of movement is huge. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, a lot of teams take that approach that, you know, they want to force the lesser opponent to respect, basically, well, what it comes down to is that the underdog in this situation has to make sure that your opponent respects them. And that's not something Rush was able to do, really. Well, let's take a look at round 16, one of the replays we were able to garner up from this bloodbath. This is like one of the few things that was really cool about Rush. As you can see there on the wall, the grenade trajectory right there, that's a smoke being thrown by Toy just right off the bat from the round. And always when we talk about going on that inner bomb side, we talk about how important it is for you to be able to rush forward to gain map control, to deny rotations from the CTs and basically make life hard. And Rush has figured out a smoke that is just really cool and really effective, where it allows for Ruru to never really stop, doesn't have to actually halt at any given point. You can just hold W the entire way, get map control over inner bomb site, allow for a safe and easy plant while the connector is smoked off. So, you know, even though Rush, they did get kind of manhandled for the better part of this game, this was actually just a really cool strategy that was well executed. And because Toy was kind of the dedicated, I guess, grenader, you know, for that round, the guy with all the utility, he also had a Molotov as well. So you can clearly see how the ID played out, like how they'd set up for it. Obviously, smoke to allow the team to just get up close and personal on that inner bomb side, and he has that secondary Molotov to fall back on, you know, in an afterplant situation. Definitely pushing up and taking that sort of aggressive route there in that inner side of the inner bomb site. You're probably going to catch a lot of those rotations off guard too, because I mean, who really advances all the way into CT spawn? Yeah, right. It really does kind of cut the head off of the snake almost. Exactly, and if you don't make the rotation from backline into CT spawn, you're kind of just stuck behind a smoking CT connector, and you can't really do a whole lot before, again, you know, Rush are able to establish position. So just overall, very solid executed pistol round from Rush. Well, we're going to be going into Overpass next, and I'm sure we're looking at a similar story here as we do transition over to that map. I mean, is that... Yeah, no, I think that's accurate, and I think it's fair to expect that. I will say, though, that, you know, in the past, though, you know, it's nearing a month at this point, we have seen Rush have their best performances in EPL on Overpass, but that was with Lilman. What they did it off of was solid team play. I'm not really sure if we're seeing the same thing coming out of them right now. Well, we will find out. I can promise you that. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got Rush, we've got Counter Logic Gaming, and we've got Overpass. We'll be right back.